Hello students, let's solve few more problems of compound interest. Okay, now there's a modified formula. The formula is A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N and 1 plus FR. Okay, now this formula is considered when there is a fraction of a year involved. That means if money is deposited for suppose 1 year 6 months or 7 years 6 months and 2 days, then what you are supposed to do, how you are supposed to calculate, we'll be learning that. So this is the formula. Okay, let's solve the first problem. A sum of 2000 is invested at 12% compound interest for 2 years and 2 days. So this 2 days is a fraction of a year. Okay, find the amount. Fine. Now principal is 2000 because 2000 is getting invested. You have to find A, right? Period is 2 years and 2 days, and rate of interest, that is R, is 12%. So the modified formula is A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N, and you will add it with 1 plus FR. Okay, F is fraction of a year. Okay, amount you don't know. P is 2000, 1 plus 0.12 because R is 12%, right? Period is 2 years and 2 days. So 2 years. So here you will write 2 because 2 years is N. Okay, and 2 days. So 1 plus 2 days means in a year there are 365 days. So 2 by 365 multiplied by R. Now R is 12%, right? So this multiplied by 0.12. So this is the formula. Okay, so let's solve this. 2000, 1.12 raised to 2. Okay, BODMAS rule, first you will multiply, divide, and then you will add and subtract. So 1 plus 2 into 0.12 divided by 365. So 2 into 0.12 divided by 365. It comes to, see this. Okay, multiplied by, no, then plus 1, sorry, not multiplication. Okay, plus 1. So we'll take 4 decimals. So 1.00065. So 4 decimals means 1.000. The 65, for 65 I will write as 7. Okay. So 1.12 raised to 2. 1.12 into is equal to, it is 1.2544. So 2000 into 1.2544 multiplied by 1.0007. Multiplied by 2000 multiplied by 1.0007. So it is 2510.56. 2510.56. Okay. Let's solve the next problem. Find the amount due at the end of 5.5 years on 1000 at 14% per annum compound interest. Okay, so period is 5.5 years. Okay, 5 years and 6 months, right? And it is compounded, and it is compound interest. Rate of interest is 14%. 1000 is the principal, right? So let's write the formula first. A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N 1 plus FR. P is 1000, 1 plus 0.14, one plus 0.14 raised to 5. Correct? N is 5 years and half, 5 years and half. So full 5 years and half a year. So 1 plus F. F is half a year. That means 6 months. You can write 1 by 2 or you can write 6 by 12. It's one and the same thing. 1 by 2 multiplied by 0.14. So 1000 multiplied by 1.14 raised to 5. Okay. So 1 plus 0.14 divided by 2. 0.14 divided by 2. 0.07. 0.07. Okay. So 1000 multiplied by 1.14 raised to 5. 1.14 raised to 5. So into square, cube, 4 times, 5 times. So you have to press is equal to 4 times. Okay. So 1.9254. Always take 4 decimals. 1.9254 multiplied by 1.07. Okay. Let's solve this. So 1000 multiplied by 1.9254 multiplied by 1.07. It comes to 2060.178 or 0.18. Okay. So 2060.178. Got it? Let's solve the next problem. Find the interest due for 3 years, 5 months and 10 days. Okay. Hence, find the interest due for 3 years, 5 months and 10 days hence on rupees 500 at 12% per annum compound interest. Okay. So principal is 500, rate of interest is 12% per annum, and period is 3 years, and fraction of a year there are 2. One is 5 months and 10 days. You will solve both separately because one is on month basis and one is on days basis. Okay. So here now my formula would be A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N 1 plus FR multiplied by 1 plus FR. Again 1 plus FR. This first one is for 5 months and second one is for 10 days. Okay. So A is equal to P is 500. 1 plus 0.12 raised to n, 3 years. 1 plus FR. So my first one is 5 months. So 5 by 12. Okay. And R is 12%. So multiplied by 0.12. And next one is for 10 days. So 1 plus 10 by 365. Okay. So when you are taking 5 months, because it is months, there are 12 months in a year, so 5 by 12. And 10 days. 10 days, for 10 days you will take 10 by 365, because there are 365 days in 1 year. Okay. So 10 by 365 multiplied by 0.12. So 500 into 1.12 raised to 3. 1 plus, let's solve this. 5 divided by 12 multiplied by 0.12. It comes to 0.05. 0.05. Okay. 1 plus, let's calculate. 10 divided by 365 multiplied by 0.12. 10 divided by 365 multiplied by 0.12. It comes to 0.0033. 0.0033. Let's solve this. Let's calculate this. Okay. Multiplied by 1.12 raised to 3. So 1.12 raised to 3, no, into is equal to. So it comes to 1.4049. 1.4049 multiplied by 1.05 multiplied by 1.0033. Okay. So let's multiply all the 4 numbers. $500 multiplied by 1.4049 multiplied by 1.05 multiplied by 1.0033. So it comes to 740. Okay. 740.01. I'll write 740 for instead of writing 740.01, I'll write 740 only. 740. You are supposed to find the interest. Find the interest due for 3 years. Okay. Or you can write, instead of 740, you can write 740.01 also. Okay, not a problem. So find the interest due. You have to find the interest. You know the amount, you know the principal. Okay. So interest is equal to amount minus principal. Amount is 740 and principal is 500. That means interest is 240. Okay. Instead of writing 740, if I write 740.01, then the amount would be 740.01 and interest would be 240.01. both answers are right. Okay. Now let's calculate compounding when frequencies for less than a year. That means if the interest is calculated after every 3 months, if it is compounded every 3 months. So interest are normally compounded. Normally it is done annually, but sometimes interest are compounded quarterly or monthly or daily also. Okay, so in that case the formula would be, it is actually the same formula. There is just an addition. See, the actual formula is like this, no? A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N, correct? So you just have to add D to it. D here and R divided by D. Got it? This is the new formula if compounding is done monthly or yearly or quarterly or daily. Okay, if compounding is done annually, then your formula is A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N. But if the compounding is done quarterly, okay, then there is a D. D is number of times the compounding is done. Suppose if I say compounding is done quarterly. If compounding is done quarterly means compounding is done in every 3 months. Right? So 3 months means, every 3 months means in a year the compounding is done 4 times. Correct? So that means D is equal to 4. Okay. So D means you have to take the number of times compounding is done in a year. So if I say compounding is done quarterly, that means in a year compounding is done 4 times. So in that case your formula will be A is equal to P into 1 plus R upon D raised to D into N. So D is number of times the compounding is done. So when I say the compounding is done quarterly, that means every 3 months it is done, right? So that means 4 times compounding is done in a year. So in that case your D will be 4. Okay. If I say compounding is done monthly, that means every month compounding is done. That means in a year 12 times compounding is done. Correct? So in that case your D will be 12. If I say compounding is done weekly, in a year there are 52 weeks, right? That means compounding is done 52 times in a year. Okay, so your D will be 52. If I say compounding is done daily, so every day compounding is done. Now in that case your D will be 365 because there are 365 days in a year. Okay. So take down the formula. Compounding at a frequency less than a year, the formula is A is equal to P into 1 plus R by D raised to Dn. D is equal to number of times compounding is done in a year. Okay. So in that case the formulas for compound interest will be P into, you just take down this formula. It is not required actually. When you know A, you can just do A minus P and find out compound interest. So I don't use this formula often. Okay, you don't need this formula, but you need this and this. For R, if you want to calculate R, then R upon D, antilog of log A minus log P upon Dn minus 1. So this is the formula for R. Okay, and this is the formula for actually n. If you want to find n and if you want to find r, then these are the formulas. There's a slight change, that's it. The formula is actually same. Okay, you just have to divide r by d and include d here. Okay, now let's solve the first problem. Find the compound interest on rupees 20,000 for 3 years at 9% per annum. The interest is compounded quarterly. What would be the compound interest if compounding is done annually at the same rate? Okay. First we will solve the first part. Okay. So if compounding is done quarterly, so write the heading, if compounding is done quarterly. Okay, now if compounding is done quarterly, okay, principal is given as 20,000, period is 3 years, right, and r is 9%, that is 0.09. okay, so d is 4 times. Compounding is done quarterly, that's why d is 4 times. Okay, what I'm supposed to find out? Find the compound interest. Okay, I'll use my a formula only. Okay, the formula for a is equal to p into 1 plus r raised to n. So because there is d here, so raised to dn and r by d. Okay, so my formula is a is equal to p into 1 plus r by d raised to dn. This is the formula, right? So principal is 20,000, 1 plus r 0.09 upon 4 raised to 4 into n. So 4 into 3. So 20,000, 1 plus 0.09 divided by 4. 0.09 divided by 4. It is 0.0225. 0.0225. Okay. 4 into 3 is 12. Okay. So 20,000 multiplied by 1.0225 raised to 12. Okay, let's calculate this. So 1 point, I forgot the number, 0225. 1.0225 into, I have to press is equal to 12 times, no, 11 times. Okay, so I'll start with 2, okay, because it is, I have to press 11 times, no, so I'll start with 2, okay, into is equal to, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so this comes to 1.3060. Okay, so 1.3060. So 20,000 into 1.3060. Let's calculate this again. I just want to recheck. Okay, so 1.0225 into square, cube, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1.3060. Yeah. Okay. Multiplied by 20,000. You do multiply by 20,000, you will get the amount. So multiply by 20,000, you get this. 26,120.99, or you can write 26,121. So because I have taken only 4 decimal, so in that case your answer will change a bit. 20,000 multiplied by 0.3060. No, 1.3060. 20,000 multiplied by 1.3060. It comes to 26,120. 26,120. Okay, when you take all the decimals, it comes to 26,121. That's okay. Okay, so you are asked to find out interest. So interest is amount minus principal. Amount is 26,120 minus principal, which is 20,000. So 26,120 minus 20,000, it comes to 6,120. So interest is 6,120 if compounding is done quarterly. Okay. Let's solve the second part. What would be the compound interest if compounding is done annually? Okay. If compounding is done annually, if compounding is done annually, then your formula is A is equal to P into 1 plus R raised to N. Principal is 20,000. 1 plus R, how much is the rate of interest? 9%. 0.09, and it is for 3 years, so N is 3. Okay. So 20,000, 1.09 raised to 3. Let's solve that. 1.09 into is equal to. So raised to 3 means 1.2950. 20,000 into 1.2950. So when you multiply this, $20,000 multiplied by 1.2950, it comes to 25,900. 25,900. So interest, principal minus amount, which is 25,900 minus 20,000, amount minus principal. Sorry. Interest is amount minus principal, 25,900 minus 20,000, which is 5,900. Okay. If interest is compounded annually, then interest is 5,900. If interest is compounded quarterly, then interest is 6,120. Okay, that's it for the day, students. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Take down the next question and please try to solve this. Okay, we'll be discussing this question in the next class. Please try to solve this question number 29. Thank you so much. Have a